Hello, my amazing students. We're starting 6.5, which is division of polynomials, and we're going to start with monomial division. So remember, when we're dividing by a monomial, all we do is divide each individual term of the numerator by the monomial divisor. So we're going to take 15c to the fourth and divide it by 5c squared, 10c to the fourth and divide it by 5c squared, and negative 5c squared and divide it by 5c squared. So here we go. The first term is going to be 3, and then 15 divided by 5 is 3. C to the 5 divided by c squared is c cubed, because remember we have like bases, so we subtract their exponents. Okay, then we move over, and since we have a positive divided by a positive, well, it'll still be a positive, and 10 divided by 5 is 2, c to the 4 divided by c squared is c squared, and then minus 5c squared divided by positive 5c squared is minus 1. And that would be our answer for the first one. Okay, the second example is 4 terms divided by 1 term. So again, we're going to take this one and divide it by this one and get negative 1/2 m squared, or negative m squared over 2. Then this second term is going to be a 2 because of the 8 divided by the 4. M cubed divided by m squared is just an m. The third term is the same as the denominator with a negative, so it'll be a negative 1. And the last term is going to be 6/4, which is 3/2. And then m divided by m squared is an m downstairs. So this one, we divided a polynomial by a monomial and ended up with something that is no longer a polynomial, because remember, polynomials have whole number exponents, and this is an m in the downstairs in the denominator, which means that if it were moved upstairs, it would be an m to a negative 1, which is not a whole number. So the result is not a polynomial. Now we hit the big time. We've got a polynomial divided by a monomial. Okay, now before we move into full-fledged polynomial division, I want you to just look at that numerator. Think about your factoring that we've been doing. Is there an easy way to break up that numerator so that one of the factors is a plus 5? And the answer is yes. We can factor the numerator into a plus 5a plus 4. A squared, 5a plus 4a is 9a, and 20. And so the numerator factors with a plus 5 as one of the factors. So then when we divide by a plus 5 on both the top and the bottom, we wind up with the answer a plus 4. Okay, so let's take that same problem, and I'm going to do it with the long division since we already know what the answer is. We're going to take a squared plus 9a plus 20, and we're going to divide it by a plus 5, and we'll use this one to go through the steps of long division. When we're dividing, remember our steps for division are divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. These are the steps that you've been doing over and over since elementary school. Okay, we're going to use these same steps for dividing polynomials. We are going to divide polynomials by just taking the first term in the divisor into the first term of the dividend. Okay, so a goes into a squared a times. Okay, I'm going to use my columns. You see, this one is the a column. So I'm going to put my a up here above my a's, not over my a squareds, okay? So then we divided. Now we're going to multiply. We divided using only one part of the divisor, but when we multiply, we will use both. So a times a is a squared. A times 5 is 5a. Remember, we're subtracting, and to subtract a polynomial, we change the signs and add. Okay, subtraction is addition of the opposite. So when we're dealing with a polynomial that we want to subtract, we change all the signs and then we can add. Okay, so here's my check. A squared take away a squared is 0. That's my check step. Okay, where we're comparing to see if we did it right. That should always happen. Okay, so then 9a minus 5a is 4a. And then I'm going to bring down my 20. So now I'm ready to start over again because I've done all 5 of my steps. So now I start over at the beginning and I just use the a into the 4a. A into 4a goes 4 times. 4 is a constant. I'm going to put it above my constants. 4 times a is 4a. 4 times 5 is 20. I'm subtracting, so I change both signs and add. My 4a minus my 4a and my 20 minus 20 cancel, leaving me with a remainder of 0. That means that a plus 5 goes into a squared plus 9a plus 20 exactly a plus 4 times. And that's what we saw when we did it on this one, right? We factored the numerator, and when we canceled, we got a plus 4. On this one, we divided it out, long style, long division, and still came up with a plus 4. All right, so here we go with another long division. Now, I'm going to just check right now and see if 3w minus 5 is one of the factors of this numerator. So I'm just going to factor 3w minus 5. Okay, 3w plus what would give me the 6w squared? Would that be a 2w, wouldn't it? Okay, and then a negative 5 goes into a negative 3 positive, negative 15 positive 3 times. Let's just check it. Let's FOIL it. So when we FOIL it, we get a 6w squared, a negative 10w, and a positive 9w gives me a negative w, and then a negative 15 right there. So when I divide, I get 3w take away 5. And the 3w take away 5 and the 3w take away 5 will cancel, leaving me with a 2w plus 3. Okay, so again, we're going to do that same problem that we just did easily by factoring. We're going to use long division. So 6w squared minus w minus 15 divided by 3w minus 5. Okay, so my steps are going to go, the first into the first is going to go 2w times, okay, 2w times 3w is 6w squared, and 2w times negative 5 is negative 10w. And then we're going to subtract by changing the signs, cancel, and 10w minus w is 9w.